I would first like to introduce Professor Andrew Williams. He's a professor of economics in the graduate business programs and co-director of our Elfenworks Center for the Study of Fiduciary Capitalism at St. Mary's College. Has most recently published in the area of sovereign wealth funds and pension funds. So please welcome Professor Williams.
Thank you, Roy. Given the short amount of time I have to talk, I'm going to mostly be doing bullet points, so I apologize for moving through this fairly quickly. Also, I'm an economist, so I fall back on economic structures, and one of the most important economic structures is the idea of time in economics, which is characterized by the very short run, the short run, and the long run, so I want to divide my remarks into those two areas. The very short run essentially depends on past actions, and one of the things that we have to realize is that we're stuck with the past. In particular, the events that brought us to the crisis, that is subprime mortgages, CDOs, highly leveraged banks, and things like that. That's a given. Also, the details of the programs that have been introduced so far, the TARP, the fiscal stimulus package, the recent mortgage relief program, that forms sort of the givens. And perhaps the most important past action is history itself, as Roy was mentioning, particularly the Great Depression and the 1990s in Japan, because these are the most commonly cited analogies to the present situation. Unfortunately, people, not only economists, but people of all stripes, have been drawing different and sometimes contradictory lessons from these expectations. So a caution, we may need to be careful about the ideas of dead economists on both the left and the right in the very short run. The short run is really the present in economics. This is where we can take action. And that's the implementation phase of the programs that have already been put into place. And we really need to try to get this right. We need to make sure that the stimulus is rapid and effective, and we need to unfreeze the credit markets, which probably means getting the solvency problem solved in the banks, and either solved rather or clearly on its way to solution. Also, what's very important in the present are actions to restore trust in the economic system, in our government, and in each other. I think President Obama plays a very key role in this, and I personally am happy that he's playing that role. We have a lot riding on this administration getting things right. I hope he's out chopping firewood for fireside chats, and I hope that the State of the Union, or sort of the State of the Union light message tonight, goes very well. Another thing about the present is that I think that we have to both accept and expect that things won't go right, that we need to be able to change and adapt as we learn more about the effectiveness of the programs that have been put in place. You know, everything's going to work. We need to give up the things that don't work quickly and move on. Finally, the long run. This is what hasn't happened yet, and which we probably should spend some time trying to anticipate how to react. May these events come to pass, or better yet, how to avoid them. Here's a short list of the crises we haven't had yet. We haven't had a foreign currency crisis. We haven't had a protectionist crisis setting off a foreign trade crisis. No country has defaulted yet. We haven't had a deflationary spiral yet. We haven't had runaway inflation yet, the opposite of that. Though we should worry about all the money sloshing around the financial system, but we haven't had inflation yet. The auto industry hasn't exploded yet. And we haven't found the next bubble yet. I hope that you all saw the Onion magazine headline, American people demand new bubble to invest in. When we all get our news from Jon Stewart and the Onion, we might think about that. And of course, we haven't had the next political international crisis yet. You know, but Pakistan, Israel, Palestine, and Iran are still out there, and we haven't had a terrorist attack yet. So those are just the crises I could think of that we haven't hit yet. And we have also have to handle the two crises that we know are out there, which is the health care and entitlement crisis and the climate change crisis. So I guess there's no surprise that they do call economics a dismal science. A final plea. There's a lot of anger out there. I see it in my students. I see it in people I talk to. Anger at bankers, Wall Street CEOs, Washington, the SEC, irresponsible home buyers, the list goes on, et cetera, et cetera. And by the way, I'll be selling pitchforks out in the lobby after the speech here, after the meeting. However, having said that, I think it's very important that each of us try to separate our justifiable anger at what and who got us into this situation from a clear, rational analysis of the programs that are coming out and that will be coming out in the future. We need clear thinking and we need to act rationally, not emotionally, if we aren't to end up inflicting more economic pain on ourselves and the rest of the world than is absolutely necessary to get us out of this mess and back to something like a normal functioning economy. This panel is an excellent place to start, and with you I'm looking forward to hearing what my colleagues have to say about this. Thank you.